Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to the Add-ons community meeting for August 24th. Actually, let me just go share the agenda really quickly. As usual, we're going to start off with acknowledging friends of Add-ons. So I would just like to give a quick shout out to Lisa. Lisa just finished her outreachy internship with the AMO team. She was with us from, I think, the end of May or early June until just last week. She was working on building out an admin tool that folks on our editorial staff could use to kind of reconfigure the homepage of addons.mozilla.org to make it easier to swap out promotions or change out content. She demoed her work, or actually Andrew demoed her work for her at our Add-ons show and tell last week. So you can check out the recording of that to see what she did. But it's really great. It's going to be really helpful. And we're really excited that we got something really useful. Or we're really excited that she was able to build something that was really useful in the very short amount of time that she was with us. So thanks so much, Lisa. Yeah, and then there's just a few items for discussion and updates. So in the time since we've last met, Mozilla has undergone a pretty significant restructuring. I'm pretty sure everyone on this call has heard the news by now, that there were layoffs to the tune of about 250 employees all across the organization. So I just wanted to acknowledge that that happened, that Mozilla is now at a time where it's really important that we focus on building and shipping products that are going to resonate well with the market and also that are going to help us diversify our revenue streams. So basically, we get a lot of our financing from a deal with Google where the Google search is our preferred search engine that's packaged in Firefox. And then we get a cut of searches performed using that Google search in Firefox. I think we have other agreements with like DuckDuckGo, but a lot of the money comes through Google. And that money also comes through advertising. So that has been slowly declining over the last couple of years. And then what happened with COVID was that a lot of Google's advertising revenue dropped pretty significantly. And so that impacted us. Thanks to the coronavirus. So that's where we are. The cuts were made so that we could balance the budget without having to draw too much further into reserves, so that the company can continue to stay afloat. I will say that nobody on the Add-ons team has been impacted yet. We do have an employee in France, and France has like a pretty specific process. So we're unclear what the outcome of that will be, but for the moment, there has been no impact. We have moved teams though. So before we reported up into the web platform team, and now we're reporting up into the Firefox desktop team. So that shouldn't really impact anybody, really impact the community, but for folks who are kind of used to seeing a certain set of people around, I just wanted to let you know that that's kind of like where we're living. That's the group that we're now living with. Mitchell puts together some words for the community on Discourse. I've added a link to the agenda if you want to go ahead and take a look at that. Otherwise, the reorg doesn't really mean a whole lot for Add-ons, even though we're over with the desktop folks now. Like I said, we're intact at the moment. This doesn't really change the plans that we kind of had outlined at the beginning of 2020, where we were investigating ways to help support developers monetize their extensions. This also, this doesn't change our commitment to making changes to the Web Extensions API to support the work that the Fission team has been working on. Trying to think what the other big ones are out there. We're still running AMO, we're still doing signing. So all of that is progressing. So no big changes here. I will say that if folks have any questions about like other teams, I can answer those to the best of my ability, but I just kind of wanted to like open it up here to this community meeting and just ask if there are any questions. Yeah, so it was a little, so if you see some Mozilla people like just being a little down, that's probably why. The rest of us, also some of us live in California and there's a lot of fires, so we're also down about that. Yeah. So I had a couple of updates for Phoenix, the new Firefox for Android release. So one of the things that we've been talking about a little bit more seriously over the last couple of weeks is supporting a preference in Nightly that would allow Phoenix users to install any arbitrary extensions. That was one of the, Jorge was just coming out of that meeting where we were talking a little bit more about that. But I just wanted to let folks know that we do have a GitHub issue filed for that. We do want to move forward with that. We have a couple of dependencies that we need to meet before we're able to release development instructions for the developer community. I know a lot of folks are really eager to get the extensions that they've built working on their Firefox for Android. So I'm sorry that we don't have anything at this particular moment, but we are actively working on it, and you can definitely check our progress on the GitHub issue. But basically what we're in the works doing right now is auditing the compatibility tables between API supported in Fennec and API supported in Phoenix. So Web Extensions API, sorry, not other APIs. So we're looking at doing a push to MDN. We have a little bit of extra work to do here because a lot of the folks who work on MDN that we were talking to have been let go from the company and are no longer with Mozilla. So we've got a little bit of legwork to figure out how we can get those compatibility tables updated in a timely and accurate way. We're going to be, one of the things I'm going to be doing probably later today is taking a look at our testing instructions on the Extension Workshop. So we had some old Fennec instructions up there for some loading. We still don't have persistent loading instructions yet because the pref hasn't been supported, but we can at minimum update the instructions for how to do temporary loading of extensions in Phoenix. Yeah, and then so we have to publish those testing instructions, and then finally engineering has to actually build the pref. There's also like a little nice to have over on the AMO side so that you can go to AMO, users can go to AMO and just install an extension off of AMO. We're not considering that a dependency before we're able to kind of like release this like support, but we are considering it a nice to have. So just so that folks know that's kind of where we are at this stage. The other thing is that we have some pretty big Phoenix releases happening this week. So the Phoenix rollout has been going gradually over the course of this month through a number of different countries. We wanted to do some, we wanted to roll out to some countries that had less users than some of our larger countries, just to see if we could triage some early bugs and get those fixed before we kind of like go to the larger markets. But the larger markets are getting the release this week. So we've got Great Britain, France, Germany, US, and Canada getting the release this week. So just keep your heads up. There's going to be a lot of folks asking about add-on support in Phoenix, and we are working on it. Any other questions about Phoenix? Jorge, when's that prep going to be available? Tomorrow? Just kidding. He's like not even going to dignify that. I was going to say, so is that prep going to be available tomorrow? And then I expected you to like give me a death glare. So yeah, once that prep is available, we will be announcing it in as many places as possible. It just might take a little bit of time. In other news, we're going to have some new badges coming into AMO in like the next 2.5-ish months. So this is part of some work that we've been doing to kind of provide, so there's a couple of things that the new badges are doing. Some of them tie into a program that we're going to be rolling out in just a couple of weeks, where we're going to see if we're going to be able to expand the number of add-ons that we currently can guarantee manual review for. So as a lot of folks know right now with the current model, you submit your extension, it gets assigned a risk assessment score, it gets prioritized in the queue, and the extension is subject to human review at any time after publication. But currently, due to our limited resources, we're only able to guarantee that extensions in the recommended extensions program have been manually reviewed for every release. So we're going to try to see if we can kind of grow, like, if we can add some more add-ons to that bunch, but not mark them as recommended because they haven't been selected by our editorial team. And part of the badges is that there's going to be a special, like, by Firefox badge. So that'll be applied to extensions that have been developed and, like, formally owned by people within the Mozilla organization. So a lot of those are like early stage experimental add-ons, or like add-ons that provide like a sense of whimsy, or like maybe some early product tests that folks are doing before they graduate into full products. So I personally am really excited about that because I know it's been kind of a source of stress for some people who hit an extension that's been authored by Mozilla that doesn't have the recommended badge, and they see the security warning and they're like, what is going on here? So that badge should hopefully solve that problem. So we'll be blogging a little bit more about this upcoming program in the next couple of weeks, and badges should be on production, I think, in like early October. I think that was what I last heard. So knock on wood, life permitting, as I feel like committing to any dates in the year 2020 is not realistic. Sorry, that was my nervous laughter. Any questions about badges? Okay, cool. So just in other like fun catch-up news, Stuart's port of Extension Workshop over to 11D is now live on production. It cleared QA. Really excited to see that out there. Hopefully this will be an easier experience for folks who want to come in and either get a local version running or who want to add or edit to our documentation. So some of those liquid JSs that Shivam is probably very familiar with, having reviewed, I think, almost all incoming patches at this point. We're working on getting rid of some of those and replacing them with some simpler markdown. Replacing them with like simpler markdown syntax. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully our end goal is still making the site localizable. We're still kind of evaluating options for that. And one of the things that we wanted to make sure was that there was kind of the least amount of code that somebody who was trying to localize an article would have to sift through in order to make the localization work. So I think this is going to get us a little bit closer to that, and just personally being able to get a local build of that site in 3 seconds has been a huge lifesaver. Those 13-minute wait times were just the worst. We've also had a couple of folks come in and fix some bugs on that. So I just really appreciate folks who have been contributing to our little Firefox specific website. Thank you. And then the other exciting thing, well, it's exciting to us. I don't know how exciting it is to everybody else, but we just introduced a new add-on block list with Firefox 79. It hasn't quite hit ESR yet, but it's on its way. So the add-on block list is, as folks are probably aware of, is the mechanism that we use to prevent add-ons from running in Firefox. So when we see an add-on that has a pretty significant policy violation, or we think, is threatening user safety or privacy, this is the step that we take to prevent it, to basically just turn it off. And as the add-ons ecosystem continues to grow, like developers continue to create extensions, and we continue to find malicious extensions, it was pretty clear that we needed a more efficient way of the tool that we use to manage those blocks. So Stuart wrote up a really great blog post about what the design of the block list that we settled on, and kind of some of the, he talked a little bit about the journey of actually getting it implemented in about 6 months, which was a really heavy lift over on the engineering and security team. And there's a couple of acknowledgements in there for folks who kind of really just jumped in and helped make it happen. So this block list will be really helpful with if we get to the point with Phoenix where we can support extensions on release. Just because security had been one of the top concerns that we had around plans to enable general extension support on Phoenix release. Whew, okay, that was a lot of me talking. Any questions?
Yeah, I got questions regarding the new block list. Besides probably helping you, the AMO team, regarding the block list, I guess this helps speed up the Firefox loading time as a user. And do you have any data on how fast it is compared to the old one?
I don't think we have anything specific for that. I think Rob Wu was looking into like the performance characteristics, and he might have some data on that. I don't think we have, since we're only rolling it out, I don't think we have any specific telemetry data like on end users, but if you're interested, you can ask Rob. He might have some information on that.
All right.
Such a good question. Right. Well, is anyone working on anything fun this week? Same old, same old? What about you, Shivam?
I'm just sleeping all week.
You're just sleeping? Is your internship done?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you deserve to sleep. That sounds good. I'm trying to think what else is coming up this week. I think for me, it's mostly going to be, I think I'm mostly going to be working on some of the Phoenix update stuff and some of the support and things around the new badges. So writing some documentation. So if you need any documentation things, just let me know. I'll add it to the list. Yeah, so I think that's going to wrap it up then for this week, unless there's anything anyone else would like to add. Cool. And I think next Monday, let me just double check the calendar really quickly. Trying to remember when the big Labor Day holiday is happening in the US and I think Canada.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. First Monday in September, which is either next week or the week after that. I can't remember.
In 2 weeks. Oh,
it's in 2 weeks? Oh man, okay. So that means that we're not gonna have a chance to meet in 2 weeks in our normal time. So it'll be 4 weeks until our next meeting, at which point we will have more answers about Phoenix and more updates about badges. So just hang in there in the meantime. All right, folks, thanks so much. It's always nice to spend Mondays with y'all.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.